What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talking with Theories, episode 152, the weekly news pro sport edition. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the Senators because they have released new jerseys, but they've been leaked. Yuki has been promoted to the Red Bull Team 1, and Ovechkin is closing in on Wayne Gretzky's record. But first, let's head to the MLB. So we'll start this one off in Major League Baseball. Yes, opening day happened last Thursday. We're almost a week into the season. If you guys have not checked out already, episode 151 was all MLB episode. There was 2 episodes last week, college hockey and MLB. There was no weekly news for either college or pro sports. So if you guys want to go check out my opinion, plus Connor and Kettler were helping me out with that episode, our opinions on what's going to happen this season with baseball as a whole, go check out that episode. Fun episode to record with those guys. A lot of good laughs there, but really good stuff to talk about and all of our opinions on the teams leading up to the season. But unfortunately, we already have some bad news for some teams. We'll start off with the injuries. The Tigers' Gleyber Torres is on the 10-day IL with a left oblique strain. Freddie Freeman tweaked his bad ankle in the shower the other day. Considered day-to-day as of right now. We'll see what's going on in the future, but he has already missed 1 game because of it. Baltimore's Colton Cowser will be out 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured thumb. Toronto's Max Scherzer has left his first game of the season due to a right lat soreness. Tough news, older pitcher. Who knows if he's going to be able to come back there. And lastly, Atlanta's Jurickson Profar was suspended 80 games for a banned substance called HCG. This was famously also tested positive for Manny Ramirez when he was playing. So 80 games, and he will be banned from the playoffs if the Braves do make it. So that's a tough first year for Profar in his new team and the Atlanta Braves. Pittsburgh announced that they have optioned relief pitcher David Bednar down to AAA. Some of the better news now. Let's get into the good news. Yesterday, Cubs and Athletics played the first game in Sacramento in their Sacramento River Cats AAA affiliate team stadium, and the Cubs absolutely destroyed them. Big win there. But Carson Kelly for the Cubs recorded the first cycle since 1993 for the Chicago Cubs. So congrats to you, Carson Kelly. Not very easy to do. And that last triple that he got definitely was chugging along for that one. So congrats there. Boston extends Garrett Crochet to 6 years, $170 million. Arizona extended Brandon Pfaadt to 5 years, $45 million with a club option in 2031. Seattle extends Cal Raleigh to 6 years, $105 million. And lastly, Colorado signed Mickey Moniak to 1 year, $1.25 million. Of the 4 contracts, I think the Brandon Pfaadt is going to turn out to be the best. I think it's a high risk, high reward kind of thing. It is a lot of money for a pitcher who hasn't been in the league very long, but if it turns out that Pfaadt continues on this kind of impressive run once in a while, he gets in some really good grooves throughout the season, I think this could be a very good contract for the D-backs. And who knows, maybe that starting rotation would be one of the top in the league, but only time will tell. Pfaadt is a young player. $9 million average AAV for those 5 years is not a bad contract at all. The last 2 things to note: Lance Lynn announced his retirement from the game of baseball. This also did come on April Fool's Day, so at first I did not think it was right. After a couple other stuff did confirm it, Lance Lynn did announce his retirement there. So congrats to the career there for Lance Lynn. And lastly, just a little thing to note, the Angels finally sit alone in first place in the AL West for the first time since April 8th of 2023. Yes, that is very early in the season, in that 2023 season. That was 723 days ago. I know Angel fans don't want to over-exaggerate. People that just care about other teams probably don't even care about what's going on here. But as an Angel fan, the Angel jersey in the background behind me today, it's very big positive news. It's something that just, hey, at least we're looking forward to something going positive right now. Because going into the season, if you guys watch that episode 151, I was not very optimistic about the season at all. So seeing just small little victories for the Angels there, very big. I don't think it's going to last very long. They're 1 game above Texas, who's right behind them. So maybe a 2-game swing and Angels are back down to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th spot. But as of right now, we'll take the small little victories for the Halos. Pretty awesome there. So we'll move on to the next topic. Then we head to the NHL, where we have Florida's Nico Mikkola was fined $5,000 for a full rink slap shot as the game expired against Montreal. The game was over. Florida already was up 4-2 in that one, and Mikkola took the slap shot, added a little bit of fisticuffs near the end of that game, but was fined $5,000 for his actions. Philadelphia fired John Tortorella early last week. Just haven't been able to talk about it. So I think Tort's leaving Philadelphia. Kind of tough because I think Torts actually is a pretty solid coach. He does have a lot of questionable moves and things like that. But as a whole, I think he's a pretty solid coach. I just think Philly is just ready to move on to the next step, bringing in a lot more young guns in there. I don't think Torts is the right guy to teach all these young guns the next step in their pro league. So we'll see what happens there for Philly. A couple of records. Pittsburgh's Sidney Crosby becomes the first player to ever record 20 point per game seasons. Even Wayne Gretzky didn't do this. He did it in 19. Sidney Crosby has done it in 20 seasons. So congrats to you, Crosby, there. Washington's Alexander Ovechkin has scored another goal, bringing his total down to 5 total goals until he gets the record all to himself for all-time goal scorer above Wayne Gretzky. 894 goals is what Gretzky's at. Ovechkin, 890. I don't think he's going to wait till next season to do it. I think he's going to do it now. The next 2 games for Ovechkin, Wednesday against Carolina and Sunday versus the New York Islanders. I definitely think he could score another goal or 2 in those 2 games. So it kind of comes down to not a lot of time left in the season, but I think he will score 5 more goals before the playoffs do start for the Capitals. So it's going to be interesting. Definitely would love to see Ovechkin do it before the season ends, but only time will tell at this point. Winnipeg Jets goalie Connor Hellebuck has joined some elite companies since the turn of the century. Only 3 goalies have had 43-plus win seasons. Connor Hellebuck is the third to do so. Marty Brodeur with the Devils, he did it 4 times, and Evgeny Nabokov did it twice, both with the Sharks. So really big company there when it comes to goalies. A player we don't really hear too much, Nabokov, in that list there. So Hellebuck really joining some elite company in that 43-plus wins, and he's not going to stop there. Winnipeg's going to win definitely a couple more games at the end of the season. The NHL and Rogers reach a new 12-year deal, $11 billion for Canadian TV rights. That $11 billion is in Canadian dollars. All this production does include Sportsnet, City TV, and Hockey Night in Canada. So all that kind of stuff will stick around for another 12 more years. All right, let's head to this new leaked uniform. Supposedly, the Ottawa Senators will be getting a new alternate jersey. Highly doubt that they will release it before the season's over, but somebody has leaked out new images. For your audio listeners, I will do my best to describe this new jersey. It is a red base uniform. The primary logo that is on the normal jerseys is back on the front of this one of the red. Black squared off shoulders, but on the outsides of the squares, it's outlined in gold. The alternate logo of the S inside of the circle with the wings kind of thing. Not sure how to explain that alternate logo, but everyone knows what it looks like. Those are on both shoulders there. Black numbers, black gold striping on the arms, black pants and helmet, and the socks to replicate the arms as well. So I think this uniform honestly doesn't look too bad. I actually like the number font that they have there. I would love to see what the nameplate looks like in the back. Are they going simple? Are they going more stylized like the numbers there? I think the gold edition in there looks kind of odd, but I like the balance between that. They have now a black-white uniform. They're going to get a red uniform, and I don't think going cookie cutter like the reverse retro would be a good alternate here. So I like that they brought in a little bit more of the black, bringing that black to the shoulders. I like the squared off shoulders better than rounded off shoulders in my opinion, but I think adding that gold gives it a little bit more of a touch. I don't think it's something I would get. I think I like the black one better as a primary dark colored uniform. So I'll give it a 6.8 out of 10. I think it looks pretty solid. I think there's a couple elements that look good. I like the gold. I think it's going to be that gold fleck as well. Can't really tell off the top of my head what I can remember, but I think that gold fleck in there is going to look really good on this uniform. So not too bad from the Ottawa Senators. It just sucks that, again, another uniform is leaked before the initial release date for these teams. And the last thing to talk about, a couple of big rookie contract deals have been signed since the college hockey tournament is wrapping up. We are in the Frozen Four, which if you guys have not already, go check out the newest episode 153. I'm not sure if it's out by the time you hear this, but hit that bell icon so you guys are notified when that episode does drop. That like, subscribe helps us grow the channel there. But since that tournament is wrapping up, a lot of players are done. Unfortunately, they're seniors and they're moving on and signing their entry-level contracts with some big teams that are making playoff pushes here. So a couple of players to note that do have a pretty big name that you guys even might know. New York Rangers signed UConn goalie Callum Tung to 3-year entry level. Colorado signs Maine forward Taylor McCarr. This is, yes, Cale McCarr's little brother to a 1-year entry level. Washington signs Boston forward Ryan Leonard, 3-year deal. And New York signs Boston College forward Gabe Perreault, 3-year deal. There's a lot of teams that have signed contracts with players and things like that. These are the players that I think are definitely noteworthy and players you guys will probably know, if not definitely hear about in the future. So 4 really good players signing with some really good teams as well. All right, let's head to the cleanup. Yes, not a lot to talk about when it comes to specific sports, but we got the cleanup, which helps sum up a couple of other big things. CONCACAF Nation League. We'll start off with the CONCACAF Nation League from about a week and a half ago. The U.S. lost in the 3rd place match to Canada after losing to Panama 1-0. They lost to Canada 2-1. In that 1st place match, Mexico ends up winning it all 2-1 over Panama. So why am I talking about this? I just want a quick word about where the status is of the United States. I think the U.S. men's national team is in a lot of trouble. They can't win against Panama. They wait till the 94th minute to end up losing that game. Offense doesn't look exciting at all. So they go to the 3rd place match. Still a really big game against a team that you should be able to beat in Canada. Can't seem to find a way to get it done. Never was able to get the lead in that game. Always had to play from behind. We're able to tie it up, but obviously Canada getting that 2nd goal and winning it, holding on to the end. So I think the U.S. are in a big heap of trouble here. I don't know what to expect going into the World Cup now. World Cup is less than 400 days away, I think, give or take or so. So what does it mean? There's not a lot of time for the U.S. because they don't qualify because they're host country. Them, Canada, Mexico don't have a lot of time to prepare for this World Cup. Not a lot of competition left in the world to make these games competitive, to get them ready for these games. So for the U.S., with the new head coach, with a team that doesn't seem to want to win or even have that strive to really push themselves to get to victories, I don't know what the U.S. men's national team is going to do anymore. I'm not very optimistic when it comes to this Gold Cup this upcoming summer, which is the last competition that means something for this team, for this nation, before they go into the World Cup. And that absolutely scares me. I think if you go into that and you can't get out of the group stage, which is a nightmare, I think you look at this World Cup coming up in 26 and look, what a waste, what a terrible time to host. But if you go in, you make the 3rd place match, I think there's a little bit of positives there. You could see as optimistic and take away some positives. If you get into the final game and you lose in that final game, depending on who it is, I think it'd still take a lot of positives away and be okay with that. But I'm hearing a lot of people would say they need to win this Gold Cup to be able to kind of boost themselves into some sort of form, I guess, into the 2026 World Cup. And I honestly, unfortunately, have to agree with them. I don't think losing in the finals is going to give you enough confidence going into the World Cup to be like, yes, we could beat teams that are ranked above us on our home soil. This is a Gold Cup that, yes, it is on a home soil, but it's not going to be the caliber of teams that we see in the World Cup. So if you can't beat the teams in the Gold Cup, you can't win, and you can't even at least make the finals, let alone win the finals, then I think everybody will look at that 26 World Cup and be like, this is a team that's not going to be able to make it far if they're lucky into the knockout stages. So it's definitely tough. It's tough to be a U.S. fan, and which is unfortunately what I am. But I think the U.S. needs to take away a lot of big names to the equation to help out this team in the Gold Cup, to help out with the World Cup. So Pochettino has a lot to deal with here, a lot of bad publicity right now when it comes to the media. But I think it's a little scary time for U.S. fans and the U.S. men's national team going into this Gold Cup this summer. But speaking of World Cup, there are a couple teams that have qualified already. So obviously the 3 host teams, the U.S., the Mexican, and the Canadian teams have all qualified. They do not have to qualify because they are the hosts. So 3 out of the 48 teams were filled. Now we had 4 more teams punch their ticket into the World Cup. That was Japan, New Zealand, Iran, and Argentina. Those teams have already clinched a spot in the World Cup. So we have 7 of the 48 spots filled for the 2026 World Cup. And right there, Argentina being in it, already a top favorite regardless. I mean, there's a lot of other teams that are going to be able to qualify pretty soon. Just depends on your region and where qualifiers are at. But we do have at least 7 teams filled in of the 48 for that 26 World Cup. Quickly head to Formula One. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Yuki Tsunoda will take over as the 2nd seat in the Red Bull Racing team, replacing Liam Lawson. So they will swap spots. Lawson will go down to the Team 2 for Red Bull. Red Bull's Team 2, Yuki Tsunoda, will go up to Team 1 along with Max Verstappen. And he will be racing with Verstappen for their Japanese Grand Prix. So that will be huge for Yuki. I think this is a good chance for him to prove that he is a good racer and he can stay up there. The bad thing is he's had a temper. He loses his head once in a while. Can he keep a cool with Max Verstappen in the top team? I hope so. I think Yuki's a good guy to be around. Definitely fun to listen to when you watch Drive to Survive, but only time will tell. But obviously, best of luck to Yuki and the new car. We head to golf where Min Woo Lee, the Australian golfer, hit a 20 under in the Texas Children's Houston Open last weekend and won his first tournament with that score. A big putt at the end to win it for Lee. A couple of notable results, though, outside of Min Woo Lee. 2 players were tied for second, Gary Woodland and Scotty Scheffler with 19 under. And tied for 5th were Wyndham Clark, Rory McIlroy, and Taylor Pendrith at 15 under. So a couple big notable names there. A lot at the top of the leaderboard. So really big win for Min Woo Lee. Little bit of news from Baltimore Ravens. They announced a new anniversary logo for the 30th season. Looks pretty solid. I'll put it on the screen right there. Plus, they also said head coach John Harbaugh received an extension through the 2028 season. So that's big news there. NFL news, though, they have announced that teams will not be allowed to wear the alternate or throwback uniforms more than 4 times. So this is bad. I think the alternate and throwback uniforms are awesome. I don't understand why the NFL is so strict on uniforms and using multiple helmets, jerseys, socks, even cleats. I don't know why they're so strict on this thing. They're one of the biggest leagues in the world when it comes to professional sports, and to see them be so strict about something, I don't really understand, especially when you have other leagues that let their players express themselves a lot more. So I don't know why the NFL does this. I don't know why the uniform things is such a big deal. But coming from a guy who loves uniforms, where I actually took an inventory of all my uniforms, 107 jerseys in my collection. So I love jerseys. I love everything that has to do with them. But I think this is a very bad move here. Yeah, you want to see them wear their primary homes and aways more than anything. But to absolutely limit them to you can't wear it more than 4 times, I think is a big L for the NFL. So hopefully that rule changes in the future, but just something to note there, especially coming from a Jersey guy. All right, games of the weekend. We got a lot this weekend. We'll start off the MLB. Dodgers and Phillies, 4-game set in Philadelphia. The New York Rangers and New Jersey Devils got my NHL game of the weekend. That's Saturday, 9:30 a.m. on ABC. NBA, we got Rockets and Warriors Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Formula One, we got the Lenovo Japanese Grand Prix Saturday at 10 p.m. on ESPN. NASCAR, we got Darlington Raceway Sunday at 12 p.m. FS1. And at golf, we got the Valero Texas Open TPC San Antonio that starts on Thursday with the first round ending on Sunday. All right, guys, that would do it for this episode. 152 episodes in the book. Appreciate you guys listening to this one. If you guys haven't already, go check out episode 151. Let us know how we did on our predictions. If you guys already checked it out, let me know down here in the comments down here. Do you think there's a couple teams in MLB that are going to do really well? Do you think these injuries right here are going to affect a couple teams like Detroit coming down the line? Who knows? I appreciate you guys regardless if you listen to that or not. We appreciate you guys for sticking around. Make sure you guys hit that like, that subscribe, that bell icon so you guys are notified when this episode drops, future episode drops, the college episode drops this week, which is episode 153. So make sure you guys check out that. Appreciate you guys checking out this one. Have an awesome rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys later.